Hello, Grots and Gits. The Legion of Excess is terrorizing the entire freaking world right now. Slannesh is one of the scariest armies around, and everyone's freaking out. So why should you be scared? What I'm going to do is I'm going to present all of the math of what Legion of Slannesh does. The reason why I'm doing this is not to terrify everyone, but maybe a little bit terrify everyone. And then in my follow-up video, which will also be dropping today, I am going to be teaching you how to counter and defeat this terrifying foe. Now, Slannesh might be intimidating, but trust me, there are lots of ways to counter them. However, you have to understand the raw damage output this list does in order to understand the next video where I'm going to teach you the counters, okay? Because this stuff is crazy. So check out this math. By the way, all the charts and stuff that I'm about to show you, all the calculations, these are done using my friend Sveinung's free mathematical resource that he has created for all of you to use. If you're interested in that, I have a video made on it, and I will have it linked in the description down below so that you can click on it. Sveinung has graciously created a tutorial for everyone, and if you're curious about the name, it's a Norwegian name. Don't worry if you can't pronounce it, but he's a great guy, and he's a mathematician who really knows his stuff. The Sheets is probably the best math tool that you can possibly find for Warhammer, and it's free to use. He has a full tutorial that's free for you guys, and we'll share all that with you. Anyway, here we go. The Legion of Excess math. Now, how bonkers is this army, guys? Bonkers. But when I say bonkers, I mean the damage is unreasonable. Is unreal. But don't forget, there is a video coming up after this one that's going to teach you how to counter it. Okay? Is it the hardest hitting army in the entire game? 100%. Yes, it is. Is it almost exclusively a melee army? Yes. Yes, it is. There's a little bit of shooting, but it's pretty much exclusively melee. Is it a fast army? Yeah, all the data sheets are fast. Your daemonettes, which are your basic infantry, move 9 base. Your keepers of secrets move 14. Your beast move 12, and don't forget that your fiends of Slannesh, which are beast keyworded, move 12 inches, and don't forget that beast can move through walls. Which means that the entire army can effectively move through walls because they have a stratagem which will allow them to move through walls, which is very powerful. So those keeper of secrets which go 14 inches just walk straight through walls. So if you're playing on, say, search and destroy, where the deployment zone is only 18 inches across, you're in trouble turn one. The army's blindingly fast. It's not quite World Eaters fast, but it's pretty dang fast. Now, they also have a stratagem which can just force your entire army to take battle shock. Just anytime you're within, basically every single unit that's going to end up within the Shadows of Chaos, which will actually include the Slannesh demons, hilariously enough, are forced to take a battle shock in the Slannesh's command phase with a stratagem. This can force your entire army just to take D3 mortal wounds if you fail your battle shock. And since you're going to be in the Shadows of Chaos, you're also going to be at -1 to your leadership. It's a lot of extra damage, which could also heal the Slannesh, by the way, mind you. We'll get more into that in the other video. But the thing is, don't worry about all this stuff because there are counters to it, which I'm going to teach you. However, let's get through this freaking math right now. Here it is. No more stalling. The damage is insane. All right, so this is a chart. Like I said, it was done by Sveinung. He's a mathematician who just does absolutely amazing work, and we really appreciate him sharing all of his work with us. I'm just going to center it a little bit, make it easier for you guys to see. So what this is a PPP chart. This was kind of devised by Sveinung, and it was meant to show you guys exactly how many activations it will take a unit to recoup its points cost. So if you see down in some of these numbers, actually I can probably make this even a little bit bigger for you guys. Let's do it like this. I'm just going to make this picture slower. Sorry, you don't get the pretty pictures to look at, but it's going to make it easier for y'all to see. We'll just do it like this. Here we go. All right. So basically what we do is we have Shalaxi, Keeper Secrets, Daemon Prince, Torrent Bringer, Shalesk, blah, blah, blah. And we have all the damage buffs that you can get in this list calculated here, okay? So this mathematical equation is taking into account that everyone's going to be re-rolling all hit and wound rolls for the detachment bonus, which we'll talk about in the other video. But effectively what that does is, as long as you, basically any Slannesh demon that charges can choose to not have the fight's first ability, but they get to re-roll all hit and wound rolls. It's very, very powerful. So this accounts for that. This accounts for the fact that they're going to be within 6 inches of the Torment Bringer on an Exalted Secret Chariot, which will give them sustained hits 1. This accounts for the fact that they're either going to be within range of the False Majesty aura, which is going to give them +1 to wound, or they're using the stratagem, which can be used on a monster to give them +1 to wound. So this accounts for all that stuff. So let's freaking run through just how devastating this is. So Shalaxi, Not good at killing guardsmen, as you can see. So the red, basically what this means is that it's going to take her 4.4 turns in order to kill her points worth of guardsmen. But that makes sense. She's not made for killing guardsmen, so who cares? 2.3 turns for killing G-Sealish. Once again, who cares? 1.4 turns for killing Chosen. If it's yellow, that means it's good. Like, a good unit should be able to recoup their points cost in 1 to 2 activations. That is a good, solid unit. Now, she starts getting bonkers when it starts getting to the more powerful units. So, a Venom. She has a 0.8 into Venom. So if she just happens to touch, like, I don't know, like 5 Venom somehow, she would do really well. Scout Sentinels, PPP of 1, meaning it would take 1 turn of activations to kill enough Scout Sentinels to recoup her points cost. Of course, that's unfeasible. This is just a mathematical equation, but it's unfeasible to actually be able to get that. Nemesis Dread Knights. It would take her less than a turn, or less than 1 turn to recoup all of her points cost in killing Nemesis Dread Knights if you just happen to touch, I don't know, 3 or 4 Nemesis Dread Knights. Old One Eye. Then we have Predators. 0.7 Predators is absolutely bonkers. That means that it doesn't even take her a full turn of just killing Predators. Once again, you would have to be touching like 3 or 4 Predators to actually recoup her point cost, so it's kind of unfeasible, but still. War Dogs. She's unbelievably efficient into War Dogs. Satan. Now this is what's wild. It only takes her 1.5 turns in order to be able to recoup her point cost against Satans, which is exceptional. Exceptionally good. Vindicator, 0.6. So it wouldn't even take her a full. Basically, she's guaranteed to kill Vindicators when she touches them. Norm Emissaries, 1.3, means she's very, very likely to kill a Norm Emissary, not guaranteed. And then a Tyrannofex, 0.9. Now, there's not many units in the game that can just one-shot a Tyrannofex, so that is shockingly powerful. That does take into account the fact that the Tyrannofex is just going to blink one of the damages, which is kind of wild. Then you look at the Keeper Secrets. Has just amazing profiles as well. Super, super good into things like your Chosen. She's got 0.9 into Chosen. Ugh, she would just eliminate a unit of Chosen, especially since she's going to be giving +1 AP to herself, and it's all flat damage 3, just murdering any flat damage 3 infantry in the game. And she heals. Really great into Predators, War Dogs, all the other things. Now, here's what I really want to get into is just how damn powerful these basic troops are. Look at Daemonettes, all right? It's going to take them. So if you have 100 points of Daemonettes, at a 0.6, you're basically going to be able to kill 160 points with Guardsmen with them, 160 points of Subductors with them, 160 points of Gene Stealers with them, 160 points worth of Marines with them. That'll be 140 points with the Marines, 140 points of all those. And then at 0.5, it'll be 150 points of Chosen for 100 points of Daemonettes. That's an exceptionally good trading value. Boys, 140 points worth of. Berserks, 140, 150 for Terminators. So they trade up into Terminators exceptionally well because they get to fish for dev wounds. It is wild how powerful it is. So onwards and onwards. But here's the deal. These guys are even hyper efficient into things like Satan, and they're hyper efficient into things like Vindicators. So Daemonettes are actually end up killing Vindicators in this attachment, which is so bonkers powerful. It's the being able to reroll hit rolls that are sustained, and then when they're wounding you, it's going to be +1 to wound, and they still have the dev wounds on 6s. Now, if you lead them with Shalesk, the damage can even get more bonkers, but we're just doing Daemonettes right here. Then you look at Fiends, and this is the one that is really just will blow your mind. Fiends have actually the highest points damage output in the entire game per points, right? So let me just kind of highlight the Fiends here. 6 Fiends have a 0.5 into Marine Bodies, have a 0.6 into Chosen, have a 0.5 into, what is that, Berserks. They have a 0.4 into Nemesis Knights. So 200 points, so like 100 points worth of freaking Fiends are going to end up killing 160 points worth of Nemesis Dread Knights. Just the mathematically, that's the way you have to frame it. It's just unbelievable, the damage. It's the highest damage output of any unit in the entire game per point spent. They have a 0.4 into Vindicators. They have a 1.0 into Satan. This is, I don't think I've ever seen a 1.0 into Satan until the next one that we're about to see. They've got a 0.6 into Tyrannofex. This is just shocking. On the next page, by the way, I'm going to show you what the actual damage is, not the points value. Okay. So then let's look at the actual points value. So this is a different chart. This is showing you how much points of damage, not what the value is per point spent, per points killed. So let's check this one out here. Keeper Secrets between shooting and melee can deal like 22.9 damage to Guardsmen. Now that doesn't mean that they're going to kill 22.9 guards, because remember, it's damage spillover, so it doesn't really calculate well enough. Going to do like 8 damage into a Satan, which is actually quite good. 21 damage into a Vindicator, which is amazing. 18 damage into Tyrannofex, which is great. That means they one-tap Tyrannofexes. Warthogs 26, so they're guaranteed to kill Warthogs. Predators 26, guaranteed to kill. A Doomsday Arc 18.4, guaranteed to kill more or less. Nemesis Dread Knights, Trucks 30. This is how much damage they do to each one of these individual models, and it is just, it's insane. Even the Demon Prince here actually gets really, really strong. Demon Prince becomes very, very good. The Torment Bringer just does crazy damage, especially to your lighter infantry. Daemonettes will deal 32.4, which can't really do 0.4 damage. I guess you can actually. Well, you can't do the 0.4 damage, but that's just how you have to mathematically create it. It's either going to be 32 or 33 damage since it's 1 damage attacks. But yeah, so they're going to have 32 damage, and that's because of sustained hits and rerolls to hit, right? And then the +1 wound, so they're wounding them on 2s. It's going to be AP2, AP3 if they're nearby a Keeper of Secrets, or if they're nearby a Keeper of Secrets, and then it's devastating wounds on 6s. They're going to end up doing 13.9 damage to a Vindicator, which means Daemonettes one-tap Vindicators in this army, which is just bonkers. They almost do 14 damage to a Tyrannofex. Just Daemonettes. Fiends, now this is actually psycho. Fiends deal 47 damage to G-Sealers, 56 damage. 6 Fiends. This is 220 points worth of Fiends, I think. 56 damage to Marines, 22 damage to Boys, 18.5 damage to Terminators. So they're just one-tapping Terminator bricks, or 5-man Terminators. They're blitzing the vast majority of a 10-man. They're killing 6 or 7 of them. Aberrants, you're doing 24 damage into them. Truck, you're dealing 44 damage. Nemesis Dread Knights, 33. Basically, you could charge a 6-man unit of Fiends, give up the fights first, and you can kill anything in the game except for a Satan. You're not going to one-tap the Satan. You're only going to deal 9 damage. Only 9 damage. 10 Seekers will, by the way, do 13 to a Satan, which, so actually, Seekers will actually one-tap the Satan. That's just because of the amount of attacks. Now, this is including the False Majesty Aura, which is the +1 to wound enhancement, and the Torment Bringer that's just getting sustained hits. Now, we can see that when we don't have that Torment Bringer with the False Majesty Aura, the damage output does decrease very dramatically. So we were just looking at Daemonettes, which were doing 13.9 damage to the Vindicator. Now they're only doing 8.1. So there's a dramatic drop-off when you don't have that unit nearby. But because that unit has the deep strike ability, you can pretty much and it can walk through walls with a strat, so you can pretty much always guarantee that it's going to be where you need it to be. Last little chart I wanted to show you guys before I sign off for this one and I get to the next video is I want to show you Slannesh versus Soul Grinder. This is something that really blew me away, is how freaking efficient and good Soul Grinders are in this detachment. So Slannesh is crazy. She deals wild amounts of damage, but she still costs like 450 points. It might have been like 425 now because I think she got a slight points reduction. It doesn't matter. I could be off by like 25 points there. Anyway, let's look at how much damage this Soul Grinder does. Into a Tyrannofex, the Soul Grinder is going to do like 33 damage. Now, this does combine the shooting and the melee potential of it, but 33 damage from a Soul Grinder into a Tyrannofex. Slannesh would do 39. It's just unreal. Now, this does account for +1 to wound, and one of the cool things is that the False Majesty Aura in Legion of Slannesh, actually, while it doesn't necessarily affect, what do we call it? Dagnabbit. It doesn't necessarily affect your monsters, so monster keywords, but it 100% does affect your vehicles, right? And that is just really, really powerful, because it's any Legions of Demonica Slannesh model, excluding monsters. And since your Soul Grinders don't have the monster keyword, they'll get +1 to wound with a crazy strength profile, and with full rerolls to hit and full rerolls to wound, as long as they don't take the fights first ability. So your Soul Grinders actually are doing psycho damage in this detachment. There is a real argument for running 3 Soul Grinders, which is kind of hilarious to say because that just sounds stupid. But it is what it is, man. The math be the math. So guys, the math on all this is absolutely psychopathic. If you want to calculate it yourself, or you want to calculate it for other armies, just check the video that I'm going to pin down below. I'll link it in the description, and then I think I'll pin it in the comments as well, because sometimes it can be hard for people to find. And just go check that out. Follow the tutorial. Drop a comment on it thanking Sveinung for his hard work that he did to put it out and just give it to you. In that video, you get all the sheets, the Google Sheets that you need so that you can fill it out yourself and enjoy. So guys, this was the damage that Legion of Excess can do. In my next video, which will come later today, I'm going to tell you how to freaking beat it. So I'll see you then. Until next time, crump on. Bye-bye.